Basketball fans, welcome into Canada's home for Talking Hoops. This is the Hangout. I am Akil Augustine. As always, three people come on the show and take over. Well, I just ask questions, and of course, the guy at the end of the couch is Dan Gladman. No, wait, that's not Dan Gladman.
Not Dan Gladman.
Warren Ward, newest member of the 905 family. Dave Zerum, long-standing family member, of course, for the Hangout. And Kayla Gray. You guys come from competing families, no?
Yeah.
It's okay. We're all one family in Toronto.
I
All
agree.
for the love of basketball.
All for the love of basketball. The Toronto Raptors fell to the Boston Celtics, a team that was suspected to be the best team in the Eastern Conference. What was the final score, Dwayne? It was like 117 to 108 final score. I would want to get into the specifics of this game, but this is for the first time for me that a big game for another team isn't a big game for the Raptors. So that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to throw this out there. Now that we've gotten through at least more than half of the season, the Toronto Raptors are blank. Dave Zerum.
Still trying to prove that they can live up to the potential we all know that they can. You know, they've shown it. You think about those Warriors games, that's sweeping the Warriors. Everyone's like, oh, this team's in the finals. This team can go that far. Not only can they go to the finals, they can compete in the finals. But then you have games like the Boston game. You have games like that San Antonio game on national TV. And they're not able to kind of live up to it every time that they have to.
So they're searching for consistency still at this
They're
point.
still on the path. They're still on the way, yeah.
Warren, what are you putting in that blank spot at the end of the sentence?
Legit.
The Toronto Raptors are legit.
That too, yeah.
Oh, hey, piggybacking. Dave's piggybacking.
I was going to say for real, so maybe I should find another adjective.
Maybe.
All right, you go first, Warren, and then Kayla will hop in.
I mean, what else more than they've done everything that they can this season. They've played without, their best player. Like this guy doesn't play back-to-backs. So I think they've done everything that they can to prove that, hey, we have guys here. They pick up, who they have? They have, Kawhi. They got G League guys.
Yep.
They got a bunch of different players, and they all play a different role, and they found a way to win 3 years in a row successfully. This season they're gonna have 50+ wins again. So they're legit.
Okay, so you say legit, you say for real, but the Toronto Raptors
I say for real.
have been an asterisk team for a lot of people.
Forever. I think, remember when Paul Pierce was like, they don't have it? Well,
Yeah.
my friend, they have it
They
this
got it,
time
yeah.
around. They have that. It comes down to Kawhi Leonard, of course. When you add one of the top two-way players on your group, you get so much better as a team. But then you look down their line as well. DeLon looks good. Norm, sure, he's coming around. Kyle, although everyone was like, well, what about the chemistry? They're grown men. They're going to make it work. They have made it work. And then you can't forget about Danny Green, who I think has been the X factor in terms of this thing really going this season.
All right, now you guys all said, the consensus here is Raptors are here, they're legit, they're a real contender. Kawhi Leonard playing out of his mind, but the Raptors don't look too bad or horrible when Kawhi's out. So my question is, this guy's up, he's in the conversation for MVP. Does the Toronto Raptors playing really well without him hurt his chances, Dave?
I think it does in terms of MVP. I think he's absolutely an MVP candidate. He plays like it. Sunday's game against Washington, that's an MVP type performance. But yeah, if your team can win without you, it definitely hurts your case because the guys who you're competing against in that conversation, one of the things they're going to have going for them is that they help their team win, and when they're gone, their team suffers for it, right?
Yeah, like you're buying this because I know the media, they sway like leaves in the wind when it comes to MVP.
Yeah, we just throw anything and it just sticks. But I think there is a point there. I look at scoring. I look at kind of the first tier person that you would go and put into the MVP category, and then who falls next. And if that gap is not as big as it is, then I don't think that you get as far ahead. You look at other players that we'll talk about, but I'm going to throw him out there. James Harden, when he's leading in his group in scoring, who down the line is behind him? You're not going to get someone who's up there close to a 30-point game the way that James Harden is. Kawhi just doesn't have those games because you'll have Kyle Lowry slowly coming in, or Pascal Siakam, who I think has been so good in terms of that tandem as well. So, yeah, I think it hurts his chances.
All right, let me throw something out there. It's not on the script, so feel surprised a little bit. But Kawhi and Kyle, everyone talks about those two getting on the same page. Does Kawhi hurt Kyle? Because we haven't really seen.
No.
But look at Kyle's numbers right now.
Why? Because he's passing more?
Okay.
I don't think that hurts anybody. Isn't that what running the point's supposed to do?
Okay, I'm only making the argument because come time for playoffs, you're going to need that second scorer, and it seems
It's
like a lot
hard to
of
be
other teams-
consistent in the NBA. It's hard to be consistent in basketball, period. So Kyle's just going through a funk, just like any other basketball player. I think
his game's changed a little bit this year. I'm not willing to say it's a funk. I think his game has changed.
That's also a strength for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Can you adapt your game to who you're on the court with? And a lot of players who can't hurt their team.
He's going to be forced to do that. As for Kawhi being MVP, out of Giannis or James Harden, Kawhi is the only player to guard the other team's best player. None of those two guys do that. So for me, I don't care whether he plays 1, misses 2. He's going to score 30 and lock up at the other end. And to me, that makes him an MVP. So.
All right. Well, I would say look at tonight, and they kind of needed a second scorer against the Boston Celtics, and that wasn't there. But let's focus on the Boston Celtics right now. Kyrie Irving is unquestionably the most talented player on the Boston Celtics roster. But, Warren, is he a leader?
I think he is. I think he is a leader. I think he carries himself, in
Wait,
that
hold on, time out.
sense.
You think he's a leader?
I think he is.
So you haven't noticed that he skipped Game 7 of the conference finals for a very young team. He's calling guys out in the media.
That's fine.
He's throwing tantrums post-game, sitting in his locker room, going to take up extra shots, trying to outweight the media so he doesn't say anything inflammatory again.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think Kyrie wants to be a leader.
Yeah, he's the leader that he ran away from in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Slowly, he's turning into one LeBron James.
Wait, time out. He's turning. Wait.
When it comes to leadership,
LeBron James is a real leader.
But who
According
is he
to
learning
who, though?
for?
According to who?
The same way
LeBron James has led a team to a championship.
The same way he
He
threw up
has.
his hands at Gordon Hayward when they lost and he passed the ball to Tatum instead of him.
Yeah,
it's
but
the same way LeBron threw up his hands to
J.R.
J.R. Smith, okay?
literally
It was the
turned
exact
down an
same
open
way.
shot.
But this is the exact.
Leadership is not just about, being vocal. It's like, he plays hard. You can't take that away from him. He's the most talented player on that team.
He's like the 96.
Time out. Playing hard is one thing. He's undercutting the confidence of other players on this team and
but
messing up.
how many other people have done that in the NBA?
So here's the thing.
Dave, hold on, wait. We gotta get Dave in here. He's looking at us like we're playing tennis.
He's like, what?
This is my favorite sport. I love it. But I think he's trying to be a leader. He's trying to, whether it's following LeBron or doing his own thing, he's trying to be that guy to rile up his teammates. And to your point about LeBron, LeBron backs it up in a serious way that we haven't seen Kyrie do yet.
Yeah.
Like when he had his own team in Cleveland, they were terrible. And now with Boston, they have the potential to be a really good team. We know how good he is as a player. But his tactics, we don't know if they're working quite yet. We won't know until the playoffs.
All right, so this team's struggling. The Celtics team is struggling, and they've got a lot of talent. So is leadership the one area that they know? You don't think so?
They have way too many stars on one roster, and that's the problem. Is when you've got way too much talent, it's hard to share the rock.
They have Al Horford, they got Kyrie, they got a lot of voices. So listen, they do have that aspect. What they lack is direction. They don't have a clear-cut direction of.
But that's leadership. That comes with leadership.
They're missing.
I don't think so.
The goal. Someone's gonna tell you what your goal is.
You're right.
If you have so many voices telling you where to go, there's not one clear-cut direction of the entire group.
They don't have the voice, and that needs to be Brad Stevens.
That was my next point.
Exactly.
This is a guy who's been lauded as the next best thing, better than sliced bread when it comes to coaching. And his team seems to be backsliding, and no one in the media has even mentioned his name. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I don't see people calling out Brad Stevens at all.
No,
his reputation's taken a bit of a hit this season for sure. He's still a good tactician and whatnot, but you look at their lack of you talk about roles or the lack of pecking order, and who's to determine that, and
their offensive production has been lower.
But still, it goes
really low.
Brad Stevens and then Kyrie Irving. I don't care what anybody says because it's like
right now it feels like it's Kyrie.
We look at Kyrie like, hey, you want to go leave LeBron and get yourself a ring? Go on then, try. So he goes to a new franchise, commits to trying to be that guy for that franchise. So we gotta just let him cook in that. If he wants to be in that role, you gotta let him have his moment.
All right, so you said let him cook in that situation. Is he even going to cook in this situation? Is he a Celtic for longer than the remainder of this season, guys?
I think he is.
You think he is?
I think he
sticks
is
around.
because parts will move.
Unless he gets
Celtics
traded.
will want because listen, they got picks chilling. Okay, if they want to make a move, Tatum, as much as even Tatum said, I trade myself for Anthony Davis.
Right.
But they'll make people move. The one constant will be Kyrie Irving for years
I think
to
so.
come.
Dave, you think he's a Celtic next year?
If I had to bet on it, I would. Yeah, I mean, like he's.
Well, you'll be able to pretty soon. I think.
That's right. Well, my money's on it. He's good enough that you adjust problems around him. He's that good of a talent. So if he wants to stay, I believe he'd be there. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, still more to come here. We got lots to talk about. It's the most interesting point in the season. I think 10 days are now official. You're pretty soon going to be able to trade guys that you got in the offseason. Word is Dennis Smith Jr.'s agent wants him out of Dallas. I'm not sure if I like that move, but we'll discuss it further when we return after the break on Hangout.